And you're saying, well, the passing offense it's no real different than last year. Look at Josh Allen's stats last year. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards for the first time in 4 years. He had a lower completion percentage because of the wide receivers. The offense last year seems to me now, looking back, was hiding their flaws.
Yeah.
Because they were always ahead and they never turned the ball over.
And last year, what was the narrative around Josh Allen winning the NFL MVP? Josh was able to do more with less.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Buffalo Plus Live. Thank you all for being here. We're here at McGregor's on the west side. Shout out McGregor's. Shout out Bud Light. Shout out you all for being here and tuning in to Buffalo Plus Live. We love it. Thank you guys so much. All right.
Awesome. Oh, there's a
my God.
fat head of Jenna.
There's a big fat head of you.
The fat heads are out.
That's just
Oh, my God.
That's just a normal size head of
I was
me.
gonna say, there's Kat. You can put mine down. Don't worry.
Yeah.
that thing is maybe getting tossed at the end of the year.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you
We
all.
burned those.
Thank you all for being here. It means a lot. We're having a lot of fun here tonight. We're going to talk the Bills, where they're at right now, a little bit of the Joe Brown. I'll get there. I'll get there. Joe Brown. Okay. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not. Tonight we're going to get into where the Bills are at. A little bit about the offense, the Joe Brady conversation, about a diva on this roster, what that would do, what a diva would mean. A little bit about the Bucs as well, but we're going to have a lot of fun. And, Mike, we got to start with just where this team is at. Tough loss against the Dolphins, a bad loss, an ugly loss. Now they're taking on the Bucs on Sunday.
Yeah. I think they're at a bit of a crossroads right now. I mean, look, you play like you played against the Dolphins. In a game, you can say what you want about the Dolphins, and they're a losing team. Doesn't matter. They're a division team. You needed that win. They played like a team. I won't say they didn't care, because that's not fair to the players, but did not put in the effort and that they needed to take care of business. That's a take care of business game.
Yeah.
Beat the Dolphins. They didn't do it. They need to get back to who they are and win games, not worry about anything else. We're going to talk about where they are in the division. We can talk about the playoffs. It's just past the halfway point. This is a crossroads. Over the next week, because they play Sunday and then they play again on Thursday in Houston, they got to show who they can be over the rest of the season.
My question to you, Mike, is who are they?
Who?
Like, you sit there and say, get back to who they are.
Ooh, that's an interesting
who are
question,
they?
Daniel.
So here's who they are. Most of the time, they have been below the standard that the Bills have set, right? They lost 3 games. Mm-hmm. They had 3 other wins that were sweat them out, and then they had 3 wins against good opponents, and they got the victories. Not enough play at the level they need to be at. So I guess we're going to find out, right?
Yeah.
They're 6-3, but I don't know if you can sit there and say they should be 7-2 or 8-1 or 9-0. I think 6-3
is how they
about
play.
where they belong.
Yeah. And credit to me for not interrupting. I tried to do it like 4 different times. But
we are 3 minutes into the podcast, and Dan is
It's
already
taking
patting
credit.
himself on the back.
yeah, and some
It's gonna be a
comments.
long night.
Some comments that are coming in. If you're not here at McGregor's,
Yes.
awesome venue here. But you can comment in on the YouTube channel. Isabella LaRufa says, "I'm coaching cheer while listening to this."
Wow.
Oh, there we
shout
go.
out
That's
to
awesome.
Bill. We
That's
love
dedication. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And then Cake Horn said, raise Dan's mic so we can all hear loud and clear how pumped he is for Gabe.
Okay, so we have done now. The Buffalo Plus Tour has rolled on to a bunch of different venues, and it has been so amazing to meet so many fans that subscribers of the channel. The number one person that people ask me is, "So Gabe's back. So your thoughts on Gabe?" And I have tried to stay quiet because I have said all that I think.
I have tried to stay quiet.
You've never-
When have
This
you
year-
ever tried to
this
stay
year
quiet?
on Gabe, I have said all
Well,
that
he
I.
hasn't played.
There's a reason.
Okay.
Like, thank you. There's clapping back there.
That's it.
They're clapping it for us.
Like, this is what's frustrating, I think, about this team is that when you're trying to say, like, I do think so much of it, and we always, like, dissect the opponent, but it really is much more about the Bills, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
playing who they are. It shouldn't be whether it's the Dolphins or the Chiefs. If they play their game and run the ball effectively, don't turn it over, Josh is good, like, they are a team that still absolutely can be playing in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The problem is that when teams take what they want to do away, we saw it in New England, we saw it in Atlanta, you saw it in Miami, they don't seem to have that counterpunch, that way to pivot to still be successful. That is my biggest concern. When you say, who are they? It's, okay, who are they when they have to adjust in the middle of a game to handle a defense?
No, that's very fair. This team we've seen has been very one-dimensional. And that's, I think, what has really hurt them throughout the season is that when the running game isn't working, it really looks like this Bills offense just struggles to make anything work through the passing game. And we can talk all about the offense and where they're at, but I do think this is a pivotal game this week, which is funny. We think about it, it's like, oh, NFC opponent, the Bills don't see a lot. But this is a very important win or a game because the Bills need as many wins as possible.
No question. It is a fight to make the playoffs. And then you worry about how high you can be. Could you win the division? Sure. Could you get a top seed? Sure. But the idea is, can you make the playoffs? That is their goal. So in order to do that, you got to pile up wins, and then you have to see where it falls out at that point. I think it's a level, if we're going to say this, it's a level of desperation. It's not like if they lose this game, they're done. They're out. But they better win the game. You just gave one away in Miami.
But they should play like that.
You're right. They should have a mindset in this week of we have to win this week to get back, I mean, if you think about it, we can complain all we want about the way they've played, but if they win on Sunday, they go down to Houston with a 7-3 record.
Yeah.
That puts you in a good spot. Not great, but good. So that's where I think it's a big tipping point between being, 6-4 or 7-3. I think is obviously it's a difference, but I think it's a major difference.
The difference between that feels pretty substantial,
especially with Houston coming up 3 days later.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's funny when I've talked to people before the event. It was an awesome meet and greet. We do from 5 to 7, and then
Very fun.
if you haven't been to one of our Buffalo Plus tour stops, we still got some coming up. But I asked people like how they feel about this Sunday, and it's similar to what it was like before the Chiefs game. Like, it's that like nervous like energy, like, well, I don't feel as good as I did against going into the Miami game. And then the same people say, well, it was 9 days ago that they looked great against Kansas City.
Right.
That's where I struggle to kind of wrap my head around what this team is, who they are, what their identity is. And Mike, you've now asked Sean McDermott 2 times in the last 3 weeks, what is your identity on offense? The one time he said, I don't know. And then the next time he said, I think we're figuring it out. We're in the middle of November.
Week 11.
Like, this isn't, October 10th where you're going, oh, they can still got time to figure it out. Like, that's where I do want that sense of urgency, that sense of desperation of what is this team and who are they going to be moving forward?
So this is what I would say about their identity. A year ago, they played the way they wanted to play. And Sean has said to us, when they lost the game to the Patriots, Sean McDermott said, we played the game the Patriots wanted us to play. They turned the ball over. They were sloppy. They didn't tackle well on defense. A year ago, they won a lot of games. Josh won the MVP because the Bills played the game they wanted to play. And that game was run the ball effectively, pass to the different players, and do not turn the football over. Now, that's a great way to play. But you know what else is great? When that's not working, you have another gear. And we've talked a lot about this. Right now, they don't have another gear.
Yeah.
They don't have a passing game they can count on. And they are so desperate to play a clean game where they don't turn it over. This is where I get to put the numbers out there. They have played 9 games. In 3 of them, they have turned the ball over 2 or more times. Fumbles, interceptions, whatever it is. In those 3 games, they've turned the ball over more than twice. They are 0-3 and are scoring 15 points a game.
Is that bad?
That's bad. In the 6
it.
games, they did not turn it over more than 1 time, and in 4 of those, they didn't turn it over at all. They are 6-0 and have scored 33 points a game. Now, that's great. If you can play that way every game, they did it most of the games last year, and it's great. It's hard to do that week in and week out, and they've already paid for it this year.
Dan, I'll let you take the floor.
well, Mike says when you can play that game, it's great. It's like, well, if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. Like you can't always do this.
That is the cleanest version of that I've ever heard.
Yeah. So I thought you knew that's where I was going. I thought that's why you said.
Well, you might have gone to the other one, knowing you. So.
Yeah.
But my point is when people ask, like, what's wrong with the offense? How can it get back on track? I see this as the same offense as last year. And we kind of talked about that earlier today, where I said last year the Bills' offense, their game plan, they never trailed in games. They were always ahead. So they never had to, as Joe Brady said, have to throw the ball. So it covered up what this everybody eats was by saying, well, we didn't have to throw the ball. They ran the ball effectively. They never trailed. They didn't turn the ball over. They had 8 turnovers all of last year. That was the fewest in the NFL by far. They had a plus 24 turnover differential, which was the best turnover differential in the NFL since 2012. We said on the podcast, I will bet my student loans that the Bills will turn the ball over more than 8 times this year. So they got lucky.
Who are you betting your student loans with?
Any sports book that would have taken it. But my point is that last year, their identity was the same. It just, nothing was exposed. So This year, they've trailed in games. They've trailed in New England. They trailed in Baltimore. Although they came back, they trailed in Atlanta. They trailed in Miami. So they've had to throw the ball, which has exposed them to not having good passing offense. And you're saying, well, the passing offense it's no real different than last year. Look at Josh Allen's stats last year. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards for the first time in 4 years. He had a lower completion percentage because of the wide receivers. And they're not getting the luck of the turnovers. Ray Davis had the fumble. I think it was in the playoff game. He's running into the open field. The ball gets knocked out. It bounces right back up into him. That's luck. They're not getting any of that luck this year. And all of these things are being exposed. So where you're like, but the offense last year was this. The offense last year seems to me now, looking back, was hiding their flaws.
Yeah.
Because they were always ahead and they never turned the ball over. Now when they're trailing and they're turning the ball over because of luck, I mean, how often does Josh Allen fumble on the QB tush push? He's running down the field and then he fumbles it. Those things happen. That's football.
Yeah.
They kind of talk about in hockey, it's puck luck. Like, that's what's happening now. But it doesn't mean that their wide receivers were the same as last year.
And last year, what was the narrative around Josh Allen winning the NFL MVP? Josh was able to do more with less. And this year, rolling into the season, it was another season of, okay, Josh, good luck. You got to be perfect. All these things got to go your way for this team to be able to create the offensive explosion that we saw last season. And also, though, Mike, we talk about turnovers. That has been something that last year, you're right, incredibly lucky. But that has kind of sprout out the season in a way that I was not expecting going into this year.
You mean how many they've had?
How many they have had.
I think it comes out of desperation. When you're watching that game Sunday, you see they're struggling. They're struggling. James Cook gets free. It looks great because James Cook he hadn't fumbled since 23.
Yep.
Fumbles the ball. Josh, to the point Jenna's making, he busts through the line, trying to get farther. Guy knocks the ball out. He takes a chance in the end zone that he knows he shouldn't, and they turn the ball over. I think when you're pressing, the turnovers will happen. I really do think that's the case. And to Dan's point that they were in the lead most of the time last year, so they could play a little smarter and didn't, and it just led to less turnovers.
Well, they were the ones setting the tone.
Yes.
As opposed to being the one that were taking the counter punches. Set up what you...
Well, I asked Josh. I talked to Josh Allen this week. No big deal,
Talked
guys.
to Josh Allen. Dan did.
Wow.
Jenna,
Yeah.
Hey, Jenna talked to Josh Allen as well.
I did.
Yeah.
I asked him about Lake Tahoe. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
a little different.
And Hardman.
Oh, yeah, and Nicole
you
Hardman.
talked to him.
Yeah,
No big
okay,
deal.
yeah.
But the point is, too, because there are some comments coming in like, this is coaching. And yes, part of this problem, the inefficiencies, does fall on Joe Brady. It also falls on Brandon Beane for the wide receivers in this roster. And part of it is on Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I know at times it feels unfair or like you can't criticize Josh. When there are times when he takes the blame when there's no need for him to take the blame. And he says, it's on me.
Like every game they lose, he says it's on him.
Yeah.
Correct. But some of these things are his fault. Like, he hasn't been great. Like, that's part of it. I asked Josh this week about, he has always said when they've gone through struggles before, I remember talking to Josh a few years ago, and he would say,
Talk to Josh.
talked to him a few years ago too, like, he would say, shoot or shoot. Like, Steph Curry keeps shooting even if he misses threes. And, like, I always thought that was cool attitude to have of, like, I'm going to keep ripping it. Like, I'm going to keep trying. And I said, okay, so you've thought that in the past, but now everybody's talking about the turnovers again. So how do you balance keep shooting while also knowing I can't press? And he said that you go back and you trust the plays and you trust your teammates. And he goes, we've been in these spots before and we've gotten out of it. And he goes, I actually think we've been in worse spots before.
Which is fair.
And found their way out of it, which is true. They have struggled, and they got hot at the end of the year a few years ago when they were 6-6. And so part of that is true. But you'll see, like, I think we talked about it mainly after the Atlanta game when the passing offense really felt broken, Mike. And I said, Josh doesn't trust anything. And you're seeing that. Like, he's waiting and waiting and waiting for guys to get open. And there'll be screenshots, and you'll say, people will on social media, well, Keon was open here. He should have thrown it here. But Josh doesn't trust that. Josh will throw before Dalton Kincaid turns his head because he trusts Dalton Kincaid. And Keon can be 3 steps open, and he doesn't trust it. So part of that is the problem that, yes, part of that's on Josh. Part of it's just on his faith and trust in those guys around him.
Jenna, there's a couple other things, too. Right now, the way the Bills are playing, and how many years did everybody wait for the Bills to get a guy like Josh Allen?
A long
right?
time.
All those years.
Long time.
All those times when he thought.
And you were there.
Yes, I was there for all of them. Well, I talked to Jim Kelly. But I would say this, like, you waited for Josh, right? And now you got Josh Allen. And let me tell you this. Defenses in the NFL are not stupid. They watch what everybody's doing. And right now, teams are trying to take away James Cook and the run game from the Bills.
Insane.
And forcing Josh Allen to throw the ball. That tells you where their pass game is right now. And there's some things you can do to change that. Yes, you cannot change all the players. We'll talk about the wide receivers. One of the things they do like to try to establish the run like we talk about. If you can run the ball well, they feel like that helps them and all. They run the ball. How many times are you watching the game and it's first down and you'll look at whoever you're watching the game with and go, they're going to hand off. They're going to run the ball.
Nobody runs the ball in the NFL more than the Buffalo Bills on first down.
They are 32nd in passes on first down. There's 32 teams in the league.
Yeah.
So they run it on first down more than anybody.
And they talk about predictability
Yes.
and being two-dimensional. They're not two-dimensional on first down.
And Jenna, I'm not saying you
good interruption.
have to.
That was wild.
You just powered through it.
I'm not saying you have to throw the ball. I'm saying is I think that would help Josh Allen out if they have the other team not feel like they know what they're going to do.
Well, keeping another team's defense on their toes would probably help out Josh Allen and the Bills' offense. But because being so predictable has limited, when you talk about the passing game and where this team is at and, like, the opposing players that are not really afraid of the Bills' receivers, but just having a different option on first down, I think could just open things up a little bit more because it just feels like you know exactly what the Bills are going to do.
The Bills' offensive game plan, like when you sit there and go, this is what we're going to do today, feels very much like teams like the Tennessee Titans, like the New York Jets, like these bad teams, because they say, we're going to run the ball, we're not going to turn it over, and we're going to try and play good defense. That's fine for teams that are underdogs and that are not good teams. Not when you have Josh bleeping Allen as your quarterback. They're playing like a mindset that they're Iowa football. No offense to Hawkeye fans, but it's a boring style of game. And when you have Josh Allen, it's mind-blowing that that's the style.
They're playing like Virginia basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, don't get Dan going on Virginia basketball.
And if you know, you know.
Dan once criticized Virginia basketball online, and I thought the whole internet was going to collapse. They come at
back
Dan
to the good old days of social media.
Hard.
I still have DMs saved of mean things said about my family.
Yes.
Because I criticized that I said Virginia basketball was bad for the sport because they were so boring.
You say everything with your chest, and I
really
I
do.
appreciate
Do you,
it.
do you- you don't want to tell him your best one, do you?
What's my best one?
Shohei?
I may have said Shohei Ohtani was a bust back in 2018. At the time, I was right.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, he's maybe the greatest player of all
I heard
time.
he's pretty good. So
Yeah.
there's that. Okay, let's get into it though, because I
All
think
right.
a Joe Brady conversation is necessary. Because I understand fans are feeling frustrated. Is it the personnel that's wrong? Is it Josh? What is it? And how much of this is on Joe Brady to give Josh some easy options throughout the game?
I think he's got to adjust. You know, to the point we're making is they have shown to be predictable. They have not moved the ball effectively, and they have not thrown the ball when they need to throw it. Now, Joe Brady can't magically create an offense with high-end wide receivers. If they would have made the trade for Jalen Waddle, I think Joe Brady would automatically become a smarter offensive coordinator,
That
right?
makes me so sad thinking that would
Yeah,
have been.
because
that
that's
would
the
have been something.
kind of player that they have needed. So, but if you're Joe Brady, you do have to try to, it's tough to constantly scheme up ways to get guys open. It's nice to have players who have that skill set, and I do think it's lacking in this offense. But that doesn't mean he can't do things better. I'm tired. Everybody loves Khalil Shakir. I don't want to see 9 bubble screens in the same game.
Yeah.
I don't want to see, jet sweeps to other wide receivers.
Can we retire the jet sweep?
Well, you can do it. You just shouldn't.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
You sit there and say it shouldn't be on the offensive coordinator to scheme up everything.
Everything.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
But there need to be more easy passes for
Yes.
Josh where he doesn't have to think and doesn't have to put on the cape for a 4-yard completion.
He might have to put on the cape for the next few weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I've always been a fan of, like, Joe Brady keeping things simple, and like they're not afraid to run the same running play 4 or 5 times in a row, and when it's working, that's fine. But this stubbornness and this lack of ability to adjust, because they talked about the Miami game, that the Miami came out in a front that they weren't expecting, and the Dolphins can't stop the run statistically. They've been one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, but they sold out putting 9 guys in the box and were daring Josh to throw, and they didn't have anything to pivot to. Like, the Bills have been really good with this 13 personnel. 2 big tight ends, sometimes 3 tight ends, Reggie Gilliam, the fullback, having bigger human beings on the field than the defense. But you can't be in that formation on 3rd and 10 or 2nd and 13. So what else are you going to do to get off of that? That's where Joe Brady's got to be a little bit more creative in the sense of, I don't want trick plays. Hand up. Don't want trick plays.
They don't work for the Bills.
No,
But I
they have
want
not
some
had
more
great success.
creativity with this offense that has just felt very stale.
Well, we talk so much about calling plays, Mike, and then calling a game.
Yeah.
And how really different that is, because calling plays, you can call a couple nice plays and that'll work out, but calling within a game when you're feeling pressure from an opposing team's defense, when they're loading the box, how do you kind of have sustained success? And that has been an issue throughout this team this year, especially, I mean, look, that 30-13 loss to the Dolphins was brutal, but you saw on display how the Bills 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They couldn't get any continuity, it felt like, going.
I think if people look back at the Kansas City game, right? Well, ideally, that's how the Bills want to play.
Yeah.
Right? They got the lead. They ran
perfect.
it well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, it's how they want to play. That was only, 9 days ago?
Which isn't
10
that
days ago?
nuts.
Right.
That was 9
but
days
they
ago.
played their game, and that was effective. And I guess if you could do that in every game, you would attempt to do it because they really did control the game. But to Jenna's point saying about calling games and calling plays, you can say, I want to have this. I want to throw the ball deep. Why don't they just throw it deep? Well, a lot of times that play is set up by something you did earlier in the game, where you use a similar formation. You send a player out on a similar route. On that time, maybe you run the ball or maybe you throw a short pass. You're trying to get that team to think this is what they're going to do, and then you try to hit them with something else. I don't know if this year Joe Brady has gotten in to a proper rhythm as a play caller in order to make that work at any point. I don't see that progression in their offense during a game.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, there are some comments that are coming in, and it's I somewhat agree, and it is the sign. of a desperate offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Have him come down on the field.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
I don't
if
know.
anything else, that just feels like he changed the vibes. Like, that
That's
is
like,
usually right before an offensive coordinator gets fired, they change their location, whether they're in
Yes,
the box
that's what I'm
or
saying.
they're on the field.
Right. So there are some offensive coordinators, what Dan's saying, who stand right there on the sidelines, and they wait for the quarterback or the offense to come on the side, and they want to be engaged that way. Most of them are up high in the booth,
Can see the
calling
aerial
down the
view,
plays.
kind of what's going on, see how plays develop, see what the defensive formations are.
I would say it couldn't hurt.
I'm just saying, like,
I know, but
they're
that
getting,
to me is like,
they're getting close to, like, hey,
what's
we
that
gotta
line about, like, the deck chairs on the Titanic?
Yeah, like
it's
you're getting close to that, like, hey, we got to change something up, and that's like what you do usually before an OC loses his job. He's like, and then the other thing would be like, the OC is handing off the play calling duties. Like
Yeah.
that's those are usually the two steps.
Well,
Yeah.
And then the owner says we have full confidence in him, and then they fire him 8
Yeah.
days later.
I don't know if we're there yet.
well,
I'm very curious how this game will go. Because I am hopeful that, remember a couple years ago when the Bills were down in Tampa,
Yep.
they lost in overtime to a Tom Brady-led Bucs team, but after the game, the Bills, Josh Allen was talking about how that did something for this
They
team.
found something in
They found
that game.
something
He called it
after
a win.
that game. He actually, in post-game,
Freudian slip.
refer to it as a win. But do you think there's a possibility of finding something? I mean, we're in November now.
yeah.
Like,
I think
that's
if
what
they-
scares me.
I think if somehow during that time they find other wide receivers, that it might help. You know, Brian Daboll was the coordinator in that, and I know
Yeah,
we're
we
going
can
to talk
talk,
about
yeah.
Brian Daboll. And it's one thing to say, you know, it's funny. Dan was talking about the 13 personnel, the extra tight ends, play the big offensive line. And back in the day, which feels like 100 years ago, they would go 4 wide, and Josh would be chucking it down the field. Games were fun to watch. We all know, too, you never knew really what Josh was going to do, right? That's the way he plays. It was an exciting brand of football. I don't think it's necessarily
Sorry.
going back to that, even if they were to make a move.
Sorry, I just have to.
Uh-oh.
Oh, where did it go? Shohei Ohtani just won another award.
Oh, he won MVP?
He won MVP. Dan thought he was a bust, but
That's so
it's
funny.
Breaking news.
You win some, you lose some.
Was-
Not every hot take hits.
okay, so
But in terms of, I was bringing up Brian Daboll. His name came up. He was obviously with the Giants. He was like, oh, look, we can tell you this. At the end of Brian Daboll's time with the Bills, it was not great between he and Sean McDermott. Not at all. I think there's what I want to try. Bruce Smith used to always. I talked to Bruce Smith too.
Sick.
You want to know that? So it's
What was Abe Lincoln
It's
like?
water under the bridge. Oh man, that hurt. Water
I got
over
the camera
dam.
guy laughing on that one.
So,
Brian's laughing too.
but in terms of, I the way you would run an.
So mean.
That was mean.
Uncalled for.
Really?
How was FDR's fireside chats?
Oh my
Do you believe this? I got to put up
Okay,
with.
go
Do you hear these guys? Seriously, let them go. Let them cook. She's
Let
telling
him
me, let me cook
That's
here.
funny. I
Um,
appreciate that.
No, in terms of the way they want to run an offense, Brian Daboll did a very good job. But he also was coaching Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders and a young Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley.
Yep.
Like, they had a very different team. Now, that being said, a team with Joe Brady and Josh Allen and similar receivers was one maybe Dalton Kincaid catch away from going to the Super Bowl. So it's not like it cannot happen. I don't think they're making any change now. But I think before Joe Brady finds himself getting changed out of this job, he's going to have to make some changes on his own.
Yeah, I think so, because I think what we talked about in the NFL, like, you have to produce. NFL, not for long.
Not for long.
And where the Bills' offense is at, it feels stagnant. Now, do you think there is, like we talk about Brian Daboll possibly coming in and consulting type of thing? What do you think is the percentage that actually does happen? Because I think it's important to think about the ramifications of, does that undermine Joe Brady? Is that a move that they're willing to make? What would that look like in terms of the offense? And you talk about, too, Brian Daboll did a lot for this offense, but that's when they had the fastball
Yeah,
of
guys.
amazing
Yeah.
receivers. And now it's a little bit different in terms of that.
Yeah, I think it's a low percentage, not just for what it would mean to undermine Joe Brady. And, like, part of that I put to the side because, like, I don't care about feelings in the NFL and in the front office.
fair.
Like this is a big
Obviously,
boy.
you don't care about feelings.
Yeah,
You
this is
picked
a
on
big
me.
boy league. And hand up, and I was talking to somebody earlier, like, they know, like, I love and respect Brian Dable more than certain members of my family. Like, I think the world of that guy. It's also the fact of does he want to come back? Like,
Yes,
he can
of
also
course.
take some time off.
And come home to Buffalo.
To Buffalo, he still has a house there. Like, it just
Played at the U of R.
Yeah,
He's
so
in
it's just a
Rochester.
matter of I don't know what players are out there at this point in the year to make an impact. So it's, can you bring in an offensive mind who is very close with Josh Allen and give a fresh set of eyes to an offense that is trying to find their way? Now, also, Brian Dable could look at this offense and go, hard pass. Like, I have seen what this is, and I'm all good. I don't want to attach my name to
Or
that.
maybe he says, let's see what changes you're going to make, and I'll come see you next year.
Right.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
So
that is interesting.
I just have a lot of respect for what Dable did for Josh. You know their relationship is tight. Offensive consultant, offensive advisor. It's happened before where coaches have gotten fired. Robert Saleh did that last year. He got fired from the Jets. He then goes and works with his friend Flores in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So, like, it can happen.
Yeah.
Not Flores. Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur,
Sorry,
the
with
head
Green
coach,
Bay.
yeah.
So it can happen. I just don't know how realistic, as much as I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I also don't know how.
Well, I don't know if people were watching the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Yesterday's video when we were in Orchard Park, but we talked about how the Bills' offense, or just team in general, might benefit from having an a-hole on the roster. I'm not going to cuss because there's nice people here, but
Right.
But I think a lot of people were saying, like, Stephon Diggs, we've gone down that route, all that stuff. And I think, to me, it's like an a-hole doesn't necessarily mean a diva.
Yep.
But I think even someone, and I don't think Mac Hollins was an asshole, but I think he was someone that was accountable, who would say, that wasn't good enough, you need to do that again. I think of Tom Brady when he was in New England. He had Julian Edelman to be like, that wasn't good enough, you need to be better. And I think on this team, there's just, Josh is a jovial guy. He gets along with everyone. I think of Khalil Shakir. Like, I think of the leaders on this roster.
There are a lot of nice guys.
And they're nice guys, which is great and amazing. But I want there to be that edge of someone like a Mac Hollins, who is not a diva, but that type of player to say, you need to be better. Full stop.
Yeah, when you think of some of the leaders on this offense, Deion Dawkins, Dawson Knox, some of those guys. And that's what was always so nice that, like, nice in the opposite sense, that, like, Spencer Brown brought an edge
Yeah.
to the offensive line. He brought a physicality, but it's different. Like, you see Stephon Diggs now in New England, and I know I'm not trying to single out Stephon, and we know what his time was and how it ended. But in New England, he's leading the pregame talk and giving the pregame speech.
Yeah.
And then when Travion Henderson has two 50-yard touchdown runs, after the game they're talking about it, and he's going, Stephon Diggs was pushing me. He's been on my backside to be better.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about this before when Diggs left. Like, is there an alpha on this offense? And we're like, Josh is a MVP. There's no question about that. But is he the type of guy like Brady? Like Peyton Manning got into it with Jeff Saturday on the sidelines. Like, you snap me the ball when I tell you to snap me the ball. Like, there is some of that edge. They're all really nice guys.
They are. It's great for our job.
Yeah, super great.
But I do
Very
think there
kind.
is an
But
element.
you wanted to see somebody in the locker room in Miami.
So
be
you
like,
go in the locker room.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
A lot of it was, well, they give them credit.
They get
They
paid,
wanted
too.
it more than us. It's like, that's unacceptable.
And we're not naive enough to think this. Like, there are times they say that to us as reporters, but behind closed doors, it may be different. I don't even know if within this team, behind closed doors is so different. And I'm not saying somebody's got to stand up and start pointing fingers. That would be the worst. What do they say? It's like looking in the mirror. You point the finger at yourself first. They will take accountability, I think. But I do think there is something to be said for setting up that room to say, somebody said, well, how are they going to bounce back from that game in Miami? That they should be breathing fire coming out of the tunnel. And I know every game's supposed to be the same and all this stuff, but they were embarrassing in how they played against Miami. And I think somebody needs to set that tone. And it's funny, Josh is everything you want in a player for a franchise. That's just what
That's
dog
not-
is he compared to?
A golden
retriever. Like
Yeah.
he's a nice guy.
An elite dog. But
That's why he's on every commercial you watch now. Is he not? He's on every one.
He's a pretty good actor.
He's funny.
He's funny.
But he's not going to be like jumping down anybody's throat, at least not publicly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we even hear that happens a lot privately. I don't think that's the way he's wired. So it would be good. Hey, I don't think Drake May's that way. Doesn't appear to be that way. He's a young player. But man, he's got Diggs. And we're showing Diggs because you guys know Diggs, and you're watching him now with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. But he's invigorated playing there. He's got a voice there, and he's playing well.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to hear from the guy who's not playing well.
We always said Stephon Diggs was a guy in Buffalo that whatever you thought of him, when he walked in a room, that was the guy that you sat up. You paid attention.
Yeah.
Because you knew that Diggs was going to bring it. Off the field issues, 100%. But when he was inside those buildings, they always talked about his compete level in practice, all those things. So, yeah.
That's why I loved Mac, though, because he had accountability without that attitude. Because let's be real, we do know, or I'll at least say this, there is an expiration date. There is a honeymoon phase.
Oh,
to
yeah. New
Stephon
England's
Diggs
going to
being
find
in
out.
New England.
New England will find out. It'll happen, but
it's
it'll take a couple years.
It's the character of having that attitude of there is a standard here in Buffalo, and if you don't adhere to that, not the coaches telling you, it's the players being like, figure it out. That is not enough.
Agreed.
Okay, we mentioned Patriots, mentioned Diggs.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the division, the AFC, because I think going into the season we were like, oh, I mean, the AFC is stacked. Look at all these quarterbacks. Like for the Bills, the division, of course they're going to get it. But this is shaken out. I mean, we're now more than halfway through the season.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit unexpected.
I would say the Bills are fortunate in this way. I don't think there's a great team in the AFC in their conference.
Which is,
you look at who's going to likely win the division. It is, say it's New England, say it's Indianapolis. Right now it could be Denver if Denver beats Kansas City. I mean, they're good teams, but I don't think anybody is sitting there going, wow. Baltimore is going to be really interesting with Pittsburgh. I think if you're a Bills fan, you're rooting for Pittsburgh to win that division.
Ain't going to happen.
Probably not. But in this case, it's like Kansas City's okay. What are they, 5-4?
Yeah.
Bills beat them.
Coming off a
Baltimore
bye.
had their issues, and it was Lamar, but they've had some other issues too. Derrick Henry doesn't look as dominant as he did certainly last year.
First year I get him in fantasy.
Yeah, right. I had him too, and that tells you what. But I'm saying is, so I do think the conference is wide open, and I really do think it is. I do think it's going to be difficult for the Bills to win the division. Yet, if we watch this game tonight and the Jets somehow upset the Patriots, then all bets for that are off.
Yeah,
I know.
We're all Jets
Go
fans.
Jets!
I've come around a little bit on New England because I was like, fraud. It was a nice win in Tampa Bay last week. There's no question about it. But I still feel like there's a slip-up coming.
Oh,
I think you're right.
New England. And whether it's a Thursday night on a short, weird week against a Jets team that is feeling kind of good about themselves, even though they traded away their two best players, but they picked up 2 wins. Mm-hmm. I like 13.5 points in the Jets tonight, if anybody cares.
Uncle Dan's best bets.
Which hasn't been good.
You don't have to say that.
But I still, I don't know when it is. I still am not this believer that Drake May is the MVP, and I think there is a stumble coming up. I don't know when it is because their schedule is a joke.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a couple of slip-ups. I do think the division is New England's minus some massive slip-ups. There's got to be multiple for the Bills to catch them. But I still, it wouldn't worry me necessarily going into, I still think New England, Kansas City, Pittsburgh are good matchups in the postseason for the Bills.
Bills just,
I could see
you got to
that.
take care of business and get there.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's very true too. But no, you're right. I do think, I agree. I think that the Patriots, they're a young team in terms of this is the first year with Vrabel. Drake May is still a younger player. You're right, and they've been susceptible games where they have turned the ball over. I think there is this slip up.
And Mike Vrabel's had that. He won 2 games in the playoffs in his whole career. They came in the same season when they were the 1 seed. And the team to beat, they got knocked off in the playoffs, albeit against Lamar Jackson. It was probably the biggest win Lamar's had in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair,
but,
actually. Yeah.
But they lost that way. Now that's going back a little bit with that Tennessee team, but that's what they've done.
All right, let's talk Bucs. Let's talk this weekend.
There we go.
Baker Mayfield. He is funny.
Yeah, like, is this the first, like, this may be the most universally liked quarterback matchup that you can have in the NFL.
Yes.
Like,
and we'll go to break, and there'll be commercials from each of them.
Yes. and they had fun with one another. Baker joked about Josh being 6'10" and eating a walkie-talkie to talk to him, and Josh made a joke saying that he wears 2 gloves when he's golfing. Like, these two guys, though, are the epitome of, like, dogs and competitors, and they do it in different ways because Josh does it with his stature and his talent, and Baker doesn't have.
Baker does it from his moxie.
Yeah, like, really, like,
he really is.
Baker does it with his guts. Like, like, he is not the biggest. Doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the fastest, but he'll still pick up a 3rd and 18 if he has to run over a linebacker to do it.
And you'll see it Sunday. Like, he can scramble. He can get away.
Take care.
He can get away. He can do all those things. I mean, Baker got drafted by Cleveland. The year the Bills obviously drafted Josh Allen, he was number 1. He goes to Cleveland, and the world got better for Baker. Eventually, after he left, he ended up in Carolina. He went to the Rams, showed up like 2 days before a game, and then ended up leading them to a victory. Like, he's found his way back. And then he replaces Tom Brady in Tampa. And he's been really good for them. He's an MVP candidate, I think, certainly earlier in this year. Yeah. And they lost some players. He's a tough player. I think he's the kind of guy, if the Bills didn't have Josh Allen, I think Bills fans would love Baker as their quarterback. Yeah. But, you know, he's a really good, he definitely is that.
And he is fun to watch. And this team, they have a lot of injuries as well. But you look at Emeka Egbuka, their rookie wide receiver, drafted 19th overall.
You can draft receivers in the first round? That's legal?
That hurts, Mike. That hurts.
And they're good?
And they're good. And they're really good.
And they don't make a lot of money?
Tell them what your boy Scott said, Reynolds, about
He said
Egbuka.
They weren't even thinking they were going to pick a wide receiver in the first round because they had Mike Evans, Jenna's good friend, Mike Evans.
Oh. Yes. That's a deep cut.
It is a deep cut. They had Mike Evans, they had Chris Godwin, and they're like, you know what? We need a wide receiver. And they took this kid out of Ohio State.
And what they do in the 7th round, Mike?
They took Tez Johnson.
How many touchdowns does he have, Mike?
He has 4 touchdowns. How many
would that be for the Bills?
First.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not bitter.
The Bills drafted a receiver in the 7th round.
He's a gym teacher somewhere.
Jeez. Poor Caden Prater.
Jeez. Daniel.
That was a little strong.
Sorry, Caden.
How about sorry to anyone here who's a phys ed teacher?
Tough job. My wife's a teacher. It's a very hard job. We're underpaid. Teachers and doctors are underpaid.
That is a fact. Yeah, I was to say.
He could be a great PE teacher.
Right. Just not a wide receiver.
I would say he's not an NFL wide receiver. And then they have Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. He likes drafting wide. He did that with Austin
Prohl.
No, it was
Ricky Prohl.
Ricky Prohl's son. Yeah, Austin
Prohl.
It's like he drafts them in the 6th and 7th rounds. Like, see, guys, I drafted a wide receiver.
He didn't make it either.
He didn't make it out of camp either.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
But Tez Johnson is catching touchdowns and thinks the crowd is chanting MVP for him.
Oh, that was the best.
That's
he
adorable.
thought during the game, he said to his buddy he caught a touchdown, Tez Johnson, 7th round pick. He's like, the crowd's chanting MVP, MVP. I haven't even done that much. And his teammate said to him,
that's for Baker.
That's for Baker. He's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That's so good, though.
That's so great.
That's so good.
That is, I wouldn't
and
tell
their
people
defense, the Bucs' defense is good, too.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is going to blitz the crap out of this Bills offense.
Yeah.
And they are really good against the run. You will hear Vita Vea's name talked about so much on this broadcast on Sunday. They are really good against the run. They have corners that can man up wide receivers. That is my concern, is because New England blitzed the Bills a lot. Mm-hmm. It confused them. Or they played a lot of man. Sorry, New England played a lot of man, more than they were expecting. The Bills wide receivers couldn't get open. Atlanta blitzed them a ton. They had no answer. Miami played a bunch of zone. They didn't have an answer. So that's where there are blueprints, unfortunately, throughout this season for defenses on how to slow down this offense.
And Dan's making the point that in each of those games the Bills were down. Kansas City loves to blitz too. We've seen it enough times with the Chiefs. The difference was Bills had the lead in that game. They were running effectively in that game. It mitigated the blitz from the Chiefs, and the Bills were able to run their offense. So
Bella Rose says, Dan, we're all underpaid unless you play in the NFL. Agreed.
That's a good point.
Buffalo Plus, underpaid.
Underpaid. Underpaid.
There's that. Okay, let's talk.
Chuck Traub from Traub Home Solutions, underpaid.
Yes. Well, we pay him.
I don't pay him enough. He always gives us a great deal.
Okay, let's talk our Picasso Player of the Week.
Shout out Picasso's.
A little Bud Light, a little Picasso's Pizza. We love it. All right, Player of the Week, Michael, in your opinion.
I say this every time
Greg
because
Rousseau.
Don't be Greg Rousseau.
why not?
Is it really going to be Greg Rousseau?
No, it wasn't going to be Greg Rousseau.
Okay, wait. He says this every time. Who could he be thinking of?
Cook?
I mean, yeah, you want Cook to play well. Is it offense or defense?
Offense.
It's Cook.
Josh? Joe Brady?
No.
Dawson Knox?
No.
Coleman?
No.
I'm just going to name. All right, Spencer Brown. Going from there.
In effect, the offensive line is what I was going to say. That was a given for this team. This is still a very good offensive line. When the Bills play well, they are a physical team and they dominate games. Certainly they can do it on the offensive line. Josh Allen has taken too many hits this season. Some, he's run around a little more and then taken the hit.
Yeah.
They protected him so much. Dion says he feels it. He hates when Josh gets hit. They need to take that into this game. Protect their quarterback. They're going to need to do it Sunday, and they're certainly going to need to do it Thursday when they play Houston, because that defense is ferocious. I think if the offensive line plays the way they can, they were not effective. It wasn't like it was that much pressure on Josh. They just they did a great job in coverage. Even who the Dolphins have. I think the Bills' offensive line needs to try to dominate this game or do as best they can to get the run game going and to protect the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. Going off of that, my Picasso Player of the Week is James Cook. And I know that might sound silly, but he has been their most dynamic player on offense this season. And if the Bills are going to win this game, I think it's because Cook is going to have a big game both on the ground and also through the passing game. I think he can open things up in that way that offers a little bit of creativity for this team as well. And I just feel like James Cook has been so good this season. We saw last week that this team can give up explosive plays. And there's the opportunity there for this Bills offense and Cook to exploit that.
Joe Brady. I know it's not a player, but that's my Picasso's guy. Like, the panic button is out. And Joe Brady can silence some of that panic button talk. The only reason that anybody's having this conversation about could Brian Daboll come back is because of how the offense has struggled.
Right.
This is a massive week. We're now going on 2 weeks in a row talking about, can this offense figure it out? Big, massive week for Joe Brady.
And to the point, again, it's not just a week. It's a week and then 3 days later. That's the thing about this, or 4 days, I guess. You're going to play, and you're going to turn right around and play again. And think about the difference in what their record can be. You know, how we look at this team, you know, in 1 week and a couple of hours from now, depending on what they do. And you know, it's against two teams that certainly are, you know, close to their equals, depending on how you want to look at it. They got to play well to win.
Yeah.
Tom Barsky saying up-tempo, no huddle.
I like the up-tempo.
I think that works out well. Also, a lot of comments have been coming in about your coat.
Okay, yeah, so this coat is a sample, but it will be shortly on the Buffalo Plus store. So check out the BuffaloPlusStore.com.
There's also new starter apparel, that merch that's gotten put on there.
We have really great stuff on our store. I'm not just saying that, but
it is at
BuffaloPlusStore.com. Yeah, so we have a collab with Starter, which is really cool because...
Oh, collab. That sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Aren't we cool?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool.
Collab.
But we have some great stuff on there, mugs, hats, you name it. But this jacket
Dan is right, Dan is wrong mugs up there.
That mug is a favorite of mine.
That mug is...
I turn that, baby.
Yeah, the Dan and wrong side is up usually.
Non-stop.
Okay, speaking of that, let's get into our picks.
Okay.
So, are you guys 500 or so?
We're one game behind you, so stop bragging. It's close.
That's still behind me.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, your pick. No,
Yeah.
Mike,
Why do I go first?
you always go first. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's gonna like this.
Dan's going to go first.
one. Yeah, I
What
don't
a
like-
loser.
I was talking to people, earlier tonight, and I'm saying, "Oh, I'm, nervous about this game." And I've always said, like, in years past, you always kind of gave the Bills the benefit of the doubt that they would just find ways to win. I don't think they've earned that benefit of the doubt anymore in the way they're playing offensively. I have more questions than I do convictions on what this team is. I think the Bucs can take away the run. I think the Bucs can blitz. I still have plenty of questions and still unknown answers on the Bills' defense. Bucs win 24-20.
Boo.
I want to
All right,
win.
I get to go
I want
next.
to win my competition.
You'll still be tied. We'll still be tied. So that's a fact.
I don't love. Am I going next or are you going
You
next?
said you were going. Go for it.
Okay. I don't love a lot of the matchups in this game. I don't love the way the Bills have played, but I have seen one thing from this team. They got embarrassed in the last game. Sean McDermott was embarrassed by the way his team played. I think he's gotten their attention. It should have happened going into Miami. They'll come home. It's going to be windy. It's going to be miserable. I'm going to be in the press box. Dan's going to have to be outside.
Way too big of a laugh for that.
It's going to be close. You're going to be nervous, but the Bills win it 23-20.
Yep.
I wanted the applause.
No,
that's why I went
fair.
second.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
pandering.
Well, I'll get applause too. I also have the Bills winning this
I'll
game.
get applause.
21-20. I do think it's going to be a close game, but I just think that the Bills are, like we talked about earlier, a little bit more desperate. Hungry dog runs faster. You know the cliche. I know the cliche. I think the Bills, for the most part, play very well at home. They were embarrassed last week. They don't get embarrassed often and not have a bounce back effort. I think it's going to be tough. I do think the injuries will be a factor. We'll see if Josh Palmer plays, what he can add. We'll see about McCole Hardman as well as
Shakir.
Gabe Davis. Oh, Shakir, yeah.
No Kincaid is huge.
Yeah, that is a big issue. But I have the Bills winning 21-20. So there is that. So we'll see. Thank you. All right. Before we go to credits to me, any hot takes for Sunday's game?
Jackson Hawes catches a touchdown.
Ooh.
Jackson Hawes, tight
Get your
end.
prop bets in.
And I think the Bills, oh no, they're not undefeated because he caught a touchdown at the who cares at the end of the line.
game. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
they're
fair.
usually really good when he gets
or really
somewhat
bad.
involved in the offense. So
There's that. Anything from you? You had last week. You were right.
2 weeks. 2 weeks ago,
Nostralana.
Nostralana, I said that Max Hairston would get his first interception. He got his first interception.
That was wild.
Then
Yeah,
the
that
next
is
week,
great.
I said Cole Bishop would get his
Third
second
play of the game.
interception. He got the interception. This week, I'm not going to go for an interception. I am going to go
Oh,
pick six.
Oh.
All right.
I like the enthusiasm.
He said it with conviction.
Yeah.
That's how
He
I
did.
That's how I do all my
So this is the way I'm going to be. If there's a pick six, I'm going to take credit for it.
Oh, he gets credit.
I am going to say strip sack,
Oh.
Greg Rousseau
my
in the game. Bills recover.
Oh my gosh, Gregor's so buttoned just over and over again.
Let's go.
Okay, who's the pick six? Who do you think?
Who's
Oh,
Max Hairston? Okay.
All right.
There we go.
You heard it here first. We love it. All right. Let's do credit to me.
You don't have a hot take?
No,
Of course not. Jenna says that both of our picks couldn't be right.
I don't know.
That's what Jenna said.
Let me see who I think could have a touchdown or make a big play.
Josh Allen.
I'll be brave, and say Josh Allen. No, you know who's had a tough kind of go lately? Terrell Bernard has not played great.
New.
Yeah.
He has had some struggles this season. Terrell Bernard interception.
All
I
right,
think that would
good.
be
I
big
was
for
thinking
him.
about Bernard.
Big for his confidence.
I wish he was healthier. He's not. He doesn't look great, but he
Yeah.
does make some
Thank you.
plays. So let's see if he makes a play.
Your pick sucked. Okay, credit to me. Do you want to start?
Yeah. Mike and I just came back from traveling to Miami. I know some people have had travel issues recently. Credit to me. I think I'm a good traveler. like going through the airport. And I say that because
He didn't have TSA pre-check till like we bought it for
I
him.
know.
Yeah.
We got it for him as a gift. We were tired of waiting for him.
Yeah.
We're like, it's TSA pre-check.
It's a game changer. If you don't have it,
Yeah.
you should have it. But I had quite the experience on the flight down. I had the window seat, and I got in my seat, and the lady next to me, very nice. We're talking, making small talk. I carry this big camera around to all the games, and there's always that awkward, oh, what do you do? And you have to do small talk of, I cover an NFL team, and they say, is it fun? Yeah, it's pretty fun. And you're waiting for the correct time to put on the headphones so you can just, like, stop having that, like, small talk. So we do the talk, and she's talking to me, and I put on the headphones. It's her and her husband, and I then kind of close my eyes. We had a 6 a.m. flight. I just want to close my eyes in the flight. And then as my eyes are closed, I can, like, even when your eyes are closed, you can kind of, like, see something. Yeah, I sensed it. And the woman is opening up the window, the blind of the window.
What?
And I was like, oh, sorry? And she then proceeds to tell me, I really like the window seat. I usually sit in the window. When I first flew, back when I was 30, and I had all these stuff, and I was like, okay. Like, you could have bought the window seat. You don't have the window seat.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of weird.
She's kind of looking over me to see the window. It's like, all right, yep, there's the window. Like, okay. So that kind of ends it. Then, again, I close my eyes, and she's then reaching across, or she taps me and goes, can you lower it? It's in my eyes now. The sun's in my eyes. Lady.
That is bizarre.
You don't get to control the window. Like, you're not in the window. Like, it was one of the most bizarre things ever. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I don't care if I'm not in the window seat and the sun is blaring in my eyes, tough luck. You got the window seat. Like, there should be airports and airplanes for people that know how to travel and people that don't. And I know traveling is very stressful and all of these things, but, like, you don't have to be mean to people. We grab a coffee. Well, I'm going to miss my flight because this coffee's taking too long. Tough luck. You don't get a coffee then, dude. Like, you don't have to be mean to the people at Starbucks. That's not your fault. So, credit to me. I think I know how to travel. I'm always, thank you, sorry, appreciate it. I'm a nervous flyer nowadays. Like, I just don't handle turbulence well or anything like that. But at least I don't pull the window shade up in front of somebody else. Was just one of the most bizarre experiences I've had.
That is so weird.
Can you lower it now?
I'd be like, no.
But like
You would not say a word.
I would never.
Jenna would never.
I'd be like, oh, is this okay?
Yeah. Oh, I'll do it for you.
So that's
But in
where,
my head, I'd be like,
that's where it was
what?
like, credit to me, like, for just kind of being like,
Look at you
okay.
go.
Like,
Honestly, the reaching across is what weirds me.
Yeah,
the
it
most.
was a
okay,
lot.
I want to say it's like, she was like, my parents' age, and she was watching Frozen. Like, that was another thing where I was like,
that's
Well,
nice.
I don't think that's bad.
like,
That's the least of your problems.
Right, yeah.
just trying to, like, set the stage, the vibe of what this
Okay.
couple was.
I hear you.
It was wild.
Okay.
It was one of those things where I was like,
Do you want
go-
to?
you
Okay.
go ahead.
Credit to me, and normally I don't do this, but credit to me. I officiated my girlfriend's wedding over the weekend, and I crushed it. It was so much fun. I had a lot of help from Dan and Mike putting together the script, and it went really well. But I would like to let you all know that I am now retired. So
One and done.
I will not be doing that.
No, we will come out of retirement.
Yes.
If you want us to do your wedding, we will put it out there. We are both ordained ministers.
Yes.
If this whole Buffalo Plus YouTube thing doesn't take off, we will just bang out weddings. You want us, we will go there and we will officiate you for a cost.
My God, subscribe.
Could you imagine? We are here gathered today to like,
Who's
comment,
over
and
there?
subscribe.
So I give you a little hint at the difference between these two. So when Dan was going over the script for Jenna's wedding, I kept saying to him, that's good. But, just make sure, if you think about telling like an extra joke, just like take a pitch or don't talk too much or whatever. Just, it's sort of like
It was
it's Jenna's
Dan.
day. It's like whatever. Jenna read her script. We're like, yep, because I knew she was going to stick right with it.
Right
and Dan crushed the
Yeah,
wedding. He
oh,
was
no, it was
great
great. It
at
was
Jenna's
great.
wedding. you were nervous. I was a little nervous too, sitting there listening. But he did a great job. And we heard about Jenna's.
It
did a good job.
Yeah.
So excellent.
And I don't normally say I did a great job, but I did a really good job.
She got in the car bragging up a storm.
No, I was just like,
I
that
crushed
went
it.
really
People
well.
came
Look
up to
at
me
me.
saying it was the best.
That was a private car ride. But yeah, people were very nice.
Awesome.
Those
Yeah.
people weren't at your wedding too, because then that would have been better than mine.
No. There were some people. There was overlap.
Yeah, there's people who
And people
said
were like,
that.
yours was so good.
I read the
best
reviews.
I've gone to.
Read them online.
So mine was better.
Retired.
Yeah, retired. You're retired.
Mine's kind of simple. I'm going to be a grandpop for the 3rd time. Thank you. This is coming up soon. I don't say anything. You know, and anybody who's got grandkids or even your own kids, like sometimes you wait till everything out. We waited. This is a long time. My daughter's doing great. My other daughter's got two little girls. And now I'm going to have a 3rd grandchild. I had 2 daughters, now 3 grandbabies. She's due in December. She's going to try to work it out when it's not a Bills game. So then I'm going to go down and see her. I'm kidding. I'm going down there whenever. But another girl. So it'll be 3 little. You want a girl? Well, I'm going to have a 3rd girl. So they're going to be 4, 2.5, and a newborn when the baby is born in just about a month.
Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting. My daughter Courtney and Drake, her husband. So
One other thing we've talked about, and I wanted to kind of, I guess this would be a good time to gauge the room a little bit. We've talked about doing some type of life advice for the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where we have joked around about we are at 3 very different stages in our lives between.
I would say ours are
well, yeah,
Newly
except
married.
Dan has
Oh,
11
yeah, that's
kids
fair.
now. So
12.
Newly married, a litter of kids, and a litter
grandfather.
of
Yeah.
grandkids. So
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
could be a life
Maybe
advice.
this is more for like a poll for like the YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
just-
Yeah.
he's thrown it out there.
I don't know.
Well, you didn't come up with the idea, so apparently it's not a good one.
Travel advice with Dan.
Travel
Don't
advice,
sit on the
yeah.
window.
Can you lower it?
Wild.
Well, also we have to do credit to you all for being
Yes.
out here tonight. Give
Thank you
yourself
to
a round of
everybody here.
applause.
Credit to McGregor.
Awesome.
This was-
Credit
yeah.
to Bud
McGregor's.
Light.
Credit McGregor's, Bud Light, always so much fun. We have such a great time with this, so we just want to say thank you so much. I feel like you should put this on.
I feel like I should.
I feel like someone should put this on. That's definitely not going to be you. But no, thank you all for being out here tonight. We really-
Did you think I would really put that on?
people were saying in the comments to put it on. Oh, yeah, we got to do the names. Oh, we got, yeah. Dan's like,
I caved to peer pressure easily.
okay, yeah, we want to.
Comically lost.
That's good. Oh, that was worth it. That was
Nope.
worth it.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's not on a streaming YouTube channel either. Okay, give some shout outs.
Shout out to everybody.
Everyone that's here. We got a lot of names though. Dave and Regina, Gary, Shrimpy, Pat with 2 T's, Meg, Char, Pam, Jaron from Utah. We got Pat and Sid, Julie, Jeff and Zach, Jordan, Kathy and Nick, Josh and Stephanie, Chaz, Luke. Thank you all so much for coming out and everyone.
For you guys always saying I have a big head, it looks very small.
You look preposterous right now.
Dan the
Like, you
Builder.
look absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I was going to say. All right. That'll do it for us. Once again, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for being out here tonight. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. For
Bud
Mike
Light,
Catalana
Lake
and
Beverage.
Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. Thank you to McGregor's. Thank you to Bud Light. Thank you. We'll catch you next time.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast.